down inside the 10, and it carried all the way to the end zone and was into the wind again, Dave.
So time remaining first quarter. Razorbacks with a new backfield. Aaron Jackson gets the carry out of a couple of tackles and a first down to the 31. Stanley Richard was there along with Grady Cavness. A lot of people in Arkansas wish that Jackson was back in the secondary where he played last year, but they had a crying need in the offensive backfield. So a guy who has played wing back, running back as a freshman, safety as a junior, is back as a tailback in his senior year. Jackson again. Hard time getting the handle, and he picks up maybe 2. Oscar Giles with first contact in an orange jersey. Couldn't have 2 more even running backs than Dickerson and Jackson coming into this game. Dickerson 68 carries, 308 yards. Jackson 67 carries, 306 yards.
You already see what Arkansas is trying to do. They're going to try to run this football, establish that running game.
End of the first quarter at Memorial Stadium in Austin. Back after this from your local station. This is the Raycom Sports and Entertainment Network. First quarter, a 10-play, 80-yard drive and a 14-yard Gardere to Keith Cash touchdown. Less than 2 minutes later, Jack Crow saw Win Grovey go 33 yards to an uncovered Tracy Caldwell. So that's why it is 7-all. Arkansas at their 33-yard line, second down and 8 as the second quarter unfolds. New fullback Kerwin Price nowhere for the junior from East St. Louis, Illinois. James Patton from left tackle led the surge. And in the first quarter, look at the rushing advantage for Texas, passing about even, and also a big Texas advantage in time of possession.
Well, the real difference is that Texas had to drive 80 yards for their score, and Arkansas only had to go about 40. So that was a big play. Big difference in those stats, but both of them controlling the ball well when they have it.
Arkansas needing 7. Grovey to the sideline. Caldwell did not get what he needed for the first down. Mark Berry drove him out. Junior from Dallas Hillcrest with the tackle. And a hand for the Texas defense as Arkansas will kick it away. This is the second-rated defensive unit in the Southwest Conference. And Glenn Ray Hines will kick to Grady Cavness, standing at his 21. Into the wind. This one goes straight up and straight down. And it is killed at the 50-yard line. Hines with an 11-yard pop-up.
Boy, oh boy. You do not want to punt high when you get the chance into the wind. You've got to punt more of a line drive punt. That time, Hines just let that ball come off his foot. It went straight up. They're lucky it didn't roll back on him because that ball was so high. And you see there, Jack Crow talking, you've got to punt line drive into the wind.
Well, Arkansas with the first missed field goal by Todd Wright all year. He was 7 of 7. And now an 11-yard punt. Problems in the kicking game. Here's a blitz. Down goes Gardere. Ken Benson all over it. And there is only the 4th sack by Arkansas all year, and only the 2nd successful blitz by the Hogs all year.
And Gardere never saw Ken Benson coming from the strong side. He just flushed right down his face. Gardere was looking off to his left. Now, you have to have presence back there. You have to know where the pressure's coming. You see Gardere right here? He doesn't even see Ken Benson coming from that side.
Senior from Wichita. Starter for his 3rd straight year. Dropped Gardere for a loss of 11 yards. So 2nd and 21. And a timeout called for by Texas. We'll take it with them. 12:55 to go in the first half. 7-7. We're back after these messages from Southwest Airlines. Texas with their first time out of the day to discuss second down and 21. Some of the 72,657 enjoying the hogs and the horns. Chris Samuels, the man in motion. Benson again on a blitz. Ball goes to Johnny Walker. Open field move. He's away from Collins. Up the side and out of bounds. Arkansas's 34-yard line. 27 yards for Johnny Walker.
And two big things about this play made this possible. First of all, Walker out in the flat, all alone. Watch the move he puts on the cornerback right here. Plant inside, come back outside. Now watch Chris Samuels in there. He's going to get him right in here. You're going to see him come down, and he does not clip. That's so important. He did not clip on that play.
Boy, you saw why Mick Thomas is the Arkansas tackling leader by some 28 tackles. He chased Walker down after that gain of 27 yards. Gardere out of the rush, delivers. Samuels. And again, there's Mick Thomas at the 29. He is amazing. Came into this game with 62 tackles. The second leading tacklers for Arkansas had 34.
I know, that's amazing. Let's take a look at that storyline.
Our sixth storyline today, Caldwell for the touchdown. They kept it 7:09. Passing for Texas, 97 yards. The key throw, of course, 14 yards to Keith Catt. 5 yards on that pickup, 2nd and 5. And Gardere again will have to scramble. Ran into Stan Thomas, who almost took it away from him. And now Gardere with the first down all the way to the 22.
This is amazing. He gets held up by his own player. Watch here. He doesn't have anywhere to scramble. Watch how he gets out of this now. He runs right into Stan Thomas. Stan says, come this way. Picks up a round on this play and picks up the first down.
Thomas almost grabbed him and helped him, which would have been a penalty. Luckily, Gardere got out of the grasp of his own man. Now they give to Samuels, and he is ankle tackled by Scott Long. Reaches the 20.
Dave, on that last play, I thought I saw Chad Rowland limp to the sideline. We may have to check that. I didn't see if he was in that last play or not, but I saw him. He's over on the sideline. I do see him now. They can't afford to do without him in that nose or that left tackle.
Well, he had a bruised thigh against the Red Raiders last week. Arkansas cannot afford to lose many more banged-up defenders. Derek Duke in the game, wide right for Texas. Keith Cash is wide left. Here they come, and down goes Gardere again.
Number 51.
Darwin Ireland, the weak side linebacker. Very versatile. They say they could play him a lot of different places. They moved him from tailback. He could be a defensive back or a wide receiver. He was a quarterback in high school. Passed for 954 yards, ran for 950 as a senior in Pine Bluff. And Dave, you're seeing a lot more gambling by Arkansas, a team that has, as we said, needed to make things happen defensively.
Well, when you only have the number of sacks that they have, 3 sacks, you know you have to put pressure on the quarterback. You can't allow someone with Gardere's ability to lay back there and just pass you.
Intercepted and dropped.
Oh, boy.
By Pat Burris, almost his first of the year. And he was the man who had a hold of the ball that ended up in the hands of Johnny Walker in the first quarter.
And look at Burris. You can tell by his actions how upset he is. The way he pulls off that chin strap, runs to the sideline, and he knows that he at least had an interception, might have had a long run because he was out in the flat. He had a straight shot right down the sideline.
Michael Pollitt, 10 for 12. Second in the NCAA. This will be a 44-yarder. Got that wind behind him. Plenty of leg and good. Ago was studying in Vienna, Austria, and the Horns are glad he came back home. Back after this from Phillips 66. In the half, and the Horns have regained the lead on Michael Pollock's field goal after an 8-play 35-yard drive. Officially into the books is a 45-yarder. Pollock now 11 for 13 this year. Blast off on this one. We will, suffice it to say, not see any returns, or very many returns.
Not going that way.
No, not left or right today. Now, Dave, you were right. Chad Rowland getting some medical attention on Jack Crow's sideline over there. We mentioned he bruised his thigh last week, and tried to tell what they're working on, but something on one of his legs, so it may well be a re-injury.
Well, they just can't. They've had so many people that have been hurt this year, and they lost Isaac Davis early in the week, and they just can't afford to lose many more players.
Jason Brandt back up wide out. The man in motion. Quick movement. Horns say they were drawn off by the left side of the Arkansas line, either Sean Flores or Todd Gifford. There's Flores. Big 295-pounder. Look here. Wake Forest over #1 Virginia in the second quarter.
Offense. Wow, that is a real surprise. You know, I saw Bill Dooley's statement this week. He said, "You remember Goliath against David against Goliath?" He said, "There's always a chance."
He was right. And so was Texas. It was against Arkansas. So first and 15 from their 15. Draw play, Dickerson. And about 4 yards. Dickerson, the sophomore from State College, Pennsylvania. Son of a longtime Penn State assistant coach. And the 8th-ranked rusher in the conference this season.
That was an interesting story. His father, of course, everybody thought he would go to Penn State because his father's an assistant coach there. His father said, "Son, you go where you want to go and where you think you can get the best education and your best athletic career." And he chose Arkansas.
Well, he got 4 yards, second and 11. Grovey on the roll. Dickerson a good block. Now here comes Giles along with Curl, and all Grovey can do is airmail it, and it'll be third and 11. Sometimes, Dave, though, the best quarterbacks make those throws, and it's a matter of not making a big negative play.
That's very true. Not to take that ball and run out of bounds and lose 8 or 9 yards. You just want to just throw it up in the air. Grovey, he's got more moves than probably most quarterbacks. He is such a threat. He fakes the ball and everybody leaps. He steps around him. He runs upfield. And I'll tell you this, Texas greatly respects his ability to run the football. That's why they said we've got to get the ball out of his hands early.
Well, they're not a bad third down team for the year, 41%, but as you just saw, they haven't picked one up yet today, and they need 11 here. Grovey option pitch, fumbled. Dickerson got it back at the 13, but Jack Crow's heart was in his throat for a second there.
Absolutely. And did you see the way they made Grovey pitch the ball so fast? They brought the safety down on him right away. He doesn't get 2 steps down the line. Boom, right here, he's got to throw the ball. Get rid of it. He had the defensive end in his face, and that's not the kind of pitch that you want to make.
Credit Oscar Giles. We found out a couple of days ago he's an Outland candidate. They lost 6 yards, and this time Hines a little bit better into that win, but no Arkansas roll, and Ty Mason downs it near the Texas, or the Arkansas 35, only 23 yards after an 11-yard kick last time for Glenn Ray Hines.
That's the win factor that we talked about. Evidently, it's more in the punting than it is in the passing. More effect on the punting when the ball gets high.
Which makes the second quarter really enormous for Texas to try and take advantage of this field position and this win behind them.
Absolutely.
The second quarter for Arkansas has been disastrous this year. It's when teams have started to run away from them the last 2 weeks. Adrian Walker spin to the 31. Give him about 6 on first down.
I want to tell you, this offensive line of Texas is opening up holes that are amazing. Watch this right at you. They run them out wide. Look at the hole inside. Right there. Look at the size of the hole. And watch the plant get back inside. These big linemen are just blowing them off the line right now.
Well, rolling in on that tackle, so he's back in. Ty Mason also with some contact. Total yardage, just about a 2-to-1 advantage for Texas, but only a 3-point lead on the scoreboard as we play midway second quarter. Play action, Gardere all day. Over the middle, Samuels almost intercepted by Michael James. And in this case, might have been too much wind behind Gardere.
Yeah, he laid that one out. And James made a nice reaction coming from his cornerback coverage. When the ball is thrown, what happens is the defensive backs all yell ball, and everybody kind of takes a little peek at where the ball is. That time, James was able to come from his cornerback spot and react back into the middle.
So, on third down, Texas still in need of 4 yards. Again, protection good. Johnny Walker, another amazing grab at the 13. Flag is down. It is against Texas. Wipe it all out.
Boy, and that's going to wipe out just an extraordinary catch by Walker.
Wendell Shelton. Catch was good for 18. We've seen two of the best catches we've seen all year by anybody in this first half alone by Walker.
Well, you know how you used to talk about hitters being in streaks? Receivers getting streaks also. He caught that first one where it was tipped around, and he caught it and brought it in, and now he's on a streak because he just made another exceptional catch. Here's the call. It's holding against Texas.
We'll repeat the down. Third down.
This is Walker on the play. Now watch, it's just going to be a crossing pattern or an old post pattern. Plant and cut right across the middle. Now watch this catch. Great look in, especially with the safety coming over there. Boy, you've got to see that safety.
That ball was past him. Walker brought that in with the left hand in between Banks and James, and now Arkansas with the timeout.
Number 1, Virginia, 9, Wake Forest.
Crow conferring with Quinn Grovey. 7:55 remaining in the first half. Texas leading 10-7. We return to Austin. Midway second quarter. What did we say, Dave, about close games between these two?
We talked about the margin of victory. It's been awfully slim. That's why this is such a great rivalry, because each team knows you can throw the records out, just like you said. You throw the records out and forget about it.
Well, it's got Jack Crow thirsty. Third down and 14 for Gardere. Keith Cash went in motion. Gardere to the sideline for Walker. It is picked off. Michael James. Cut back 35-yard line, and finally Todd Smith, the Texas center, with the tackle after an 18-yard return by James.
Let me tell you, they talk about closing speed when you talk about a defensive back, and that's what James does on that play. The receiver is wide open. As the pass starts his way, it's wide open. All of a sudden, now watch this. You're going to see the pass come your way, and then you're going to see Michael James doesn't look any. First of all, Gardere doesn't look anyone off. Look at James' reaction back into the pack. And watch the run. I'm going to tell you one thing. They may need him at running back soon. It's a heck of a run. Cutting back, juking around, upfield, gaining yardage.
Only the third interception by Arkansas all year. First by James. And what looked like a very promising drive turns into nothing for Texas. And another timeout called by Arkansas. They're down to their final timeout. 7 minutes and 40 seconds remaining. After a change of possession, why would you call time here and stop your own momentum?
Well, that's a good question. Evidently, they weren't really ready to come out on the field and take charge in that huddle, and Grovey just had a little indecision. The best thing to do is call timeout. When he got up to the line, the 25-second clock had ticked down also, so he just called and burned that last timeout.
Well, there's just one key game in the Southwest Conference this afternoon. Another good one at College Station. Always a neighborhood war between Baylor and Texas A&M. Houston and SMU, the rematch of 95-21 last year. Texas Tech hoping that they solve some of their problems with their big win at Arkansas last week, and they visit the Rice Owls. Every week from here on in, the story will get a little muddier, we expect. It always does in this league.
Well, it certainly does with the presence of Houston in there. And the record that they have, they're beating just about, I mean, they're competitive with everybody and beating a lot of teams and can't go.
Yeah, you've seen a lot of big statistical edges for Texas everywhere except the scoreboard where it's 10-7. And E.D. Jackson with a leap forward. He's across the 41-yard line where Winfred Tubbs was there for the tackle. Extremely dangerous, Jackson. Or Edward Donald if you're his mom or dad. 7-6 after a pickup of 4.
When they nickname running backs like that with extremely dangerous, you know he can break it.
Virginia back within 2. Russell went in motion. Again, Jackson, big room up near midfield and should have a first down where they mark him. Again, Tubbs in the stop for Texas along with Lance Gunn.
Well, if you want to call E.D. Jackson extremely dangerous, that was a great, extremely dangerous cut right there. When he cut back inside, it looked for a second there as if it was going to be just a wide open run. He picked up nice yardage on it. They moved the chains, first down. It's exactly what Arkansas wants to do. One of the must, Dave, that we talked about was Arkansas had to play Arkansas football. This is it. Run the ball, set up the pass with the run.
Now the broken eye on first down. Roby to Dickerson, wiped out by Shane Dronette. This is a guy who at age 11 used to box 16-year-olds. When he couldn't find anybody to fight, he'd punch out refrigerators. There is a little need for contact in this body.
Well, this is a knockout right here, boy. When you knock them down like that in the backfield, that's a good stat. 2-yard loss, and only a sophomore.
17 tackles last week against OU. Loss of 2 this time. Dickerson might have been face masking by Anthony Curl, and a flag is down, as is Ron Dickerson at the Texas 45. Look for a tack on at least 5 here.
At least 5. This one here, he just about took off his head. This isn't a flagrant one. I don't know what is. The only thing that wouldn't make it a flagrant one is that he just didn't rip it off. I mean, he got his hand off fast, but boy, did his head jerk back.
This is the big one, 15.
Well, watch the head on this play. Right in here. Now watch his head. Look at that. His face just rips all the way around. I know it, you know, as a defensive player, it's really not intentional, but that's why the violation is there. The inadvertent one is the one where you just put the hand on the mask and tackle it. The one that's the flagrant one is where you actually use it to drag him down or try to tackle him.
Well, that's incredible that didn't cause a major neck injury. Whipping him around like that. Hogs in front of their own fans across the way. Maybe 1 yard on first down. E.D. Jackson brought down by Patton and Curl. One of the top 2 defenses in the Southwest Conference. Texas right behind the Aggies. And Arkansas at number 5, and of course they've dropped as they have been shredded by TCU and Texas Tech the last 2 weeks.
Oh, the last 2 weeks, yes, they've had 1,100 yards, almost 1,100 yards run against them, so that'll sure drop you in a hurry.
2nd and 9. Grovey long count, barely got it off in time, and again stacked up in the middle. Jackson introduced again to Dronette and Tommy Jeter, the right defensive tackle. Grovey will look at 3rd and long.
I'll tell you, James Patton is in there too, boy, and he is flat out stuffing them. We saw his name on that weight chart yesterday when we walked in their room.
Yeah, he is all over their weight championship rankings. Now 0 for 4 on 3rd down for Arkansas. Where they are right now, if they don't gain a thing, they could try a 47-yarder by Todd Wright. That's his career long. But remember that stiff wind. They need some yards here. Grovey chased by Tubbs, out of bounds, did not get the first down, but he's up to the 22, and they can think about a tying field goal now.
You know, when we were talking about Quinn Grovey and his ability It was interesting that David McWilliams said he has that unbelievable knack to know when people are behind him. And you can see the pressure from behind, skips down the sideline, picks up nice yardage, almost picks up a first down, steps out of bounds to avoid the contact. But some quarterbacks just have that knack of knowing when somebody's right behind them and they bail out and pick up yardage.
Well, Todd Wright missed from 46 yards in the first quarter. His first miss after 10 straight going back to last year. This will be from 40 yards into the teeth of the south wind. And this one wide right. No pun intended. So it is still the Horns 10, the Hogs 7. Late first half here in Austin. 10-7. Arkansas cannot convert the interception into points. Boy, but it wasn't because of any lack of leg by Todd Wright.
No, that ball would have carried from at least 50 yards. That had a strong leg behind it.
Just pushed it all the way. Gardere on the draw play. Adrian Walker. Kurt Collins giving chase along with James, and James got the ankle tackle at the 30. And interesting, Walker getting a lot of work today. He missed last week with a back muscle problem. They have rotated in Walker along with Phil Brown, who checks in here for Chris Samuels. Samuels, some of the biggest plays of the half for Texas, and Butch Hadnot. So you're seeming to see now Texas settle on a 4-back rotation. This time to Brown. And Albert Harris came up to slow him down. Flag is down as he's game tackled at the 29.
I thought I saw a face mask in there. That is really going to hurt Arkansas. I thought I saw the one where the hand goes on the face mask. I'll have to wait for the call, of course, but that's what I thought I saw.
Well, Wendell Shelton saw it right with you.
By the defense, a 5-yard
When he tackled him, I thought the hand went up on the face mask.
They're booing because this is only 5 yards rather than the 15, but it wasn't nearly as severe as what Anthony Curl did.
No, this is the exact opposite of the flagrant one right here. Now watch, see the hand is up, but see right there, now right in there is where he has the hand on the face mask. He's using the face mask, and again, it's the inadvertent one where really the hand, that may have been the under one that also the last one.
Kirk Collins, I think, is the man who got flagged. Phil Brown lost it. Still loose at the 40-yard line, and the Hogs say they have it. Phil Brown with his second fumble of the day, and another Arkansas recovery, and Kirk Collins with the big hit this time. And more big hits at the bottom of that pile. Owen Kelly and Keith Cash being separated.
Well, when you break through a hole like this, you just got to put the ball away, and this ball again gets ripped out. Right in here, he starts to lose it right there. Got a helmet on the ball, just swiped it out. But you have got to keep that elbow down. That ball just popped around 2 or 3 times in that pile. And Arkansas comes up with great field position.
Looked for a second as if Johnny Walker had it, but he didn't. +3 for the Razorbacks this year. From the 41, Aaron Jackson pushing forward for about 4.
Well, you know, we talked about the Arkansas tradition, playing traditional Arkansas football. Wasn't it a couple years ago that they led the nation in that giveaway takeaway ratio?
Well, that was the whole philosophy of Ken Hatfield, as we see Virginia regain the lead on Wake Forest. They did trail in that game. Hatfield played a bend but don't break defense that invited teams to make mistakes. He'd allow long drives, hoping that in 10, 12, 14 plays you're going to make a mistake. And a Texas team that until the last 2 weeks took care of the ball extremely well, not doing so today. Aaron Jackson hit right at about the line of scrimmage by Oscar Giles and Stanley Richard. The Hogs again will look at 3rd down. Texas was +4 in their turnover ratio today, but they lost 2 fumbles and 1 interception. Lucky that they haven't had a couple more interceptions. All parts of the formula that Jack Crow hoped to use to pull the upset here. Inside give. Going to be very close depending on where they mark it. E.D. Jackson. Now he is at the 33. Does not look like he'll have the first. Now they push it all the way back to the 34, and they still need 3 on 4th down.
And decision time, whether to go for it. They've come up short twice on field goals. Do you try a field goal or just go for it? I think you just go for it in this situation.
Extra tight end is in, 89, Kurt Hodkin. They did not get it. Crow said give it to E.D. Jackson. Brian Jones is there along with Anthony Curl.
Well, right now Arkansas is not winning the line of scrimmage. You see Brian Jones, number 60, step up in there. Patton is in there. Jeter's in there. We talked about Drenette. Giles, boy, I'll tell you, that up front of Texas is just exploding in there and controlling the line of scrimmage.
So the Horns survive another turnover. 54 seconds in the half. Adrian Walker high stepping all the way to midfield, where Curtis Banks brought him down after a gain of 16. Stay with us for halftime. We'll introduce the Phillips 66 Southwest Conference Player of the Week. We'll meet today's GTE Classroom Champion, and we'll visit with former Texas head coach Darrell Royal. All this and highlights coming up at halftime. Horns have burned a timeout with 47 seconds remaining. And with the wind behind him, plenty of time, even if you only settle for the field goal. With the leg of Michael Pollock and 20 yards worth of southerly breeze behind him, what do you figure they need to get to?
Well, usually the magical line is the 30-yard line, which makes a 47-yard field goal. But with this gusting wind, it is going straight down the field. So there's not a crosswind. It's right straight at their backs. I would say that they could easily kick from the 35 to 38-yard line. It'd be a long kick, but it certainly is going to have the distance if it has the accuracy.
Mississippi team, the first to beat Arkansas this year. Houston off and perhaps running against SMU. Each team with 1 timeout left. Gardere today, 6 of 12, 97 yards, a touchdown and an interception. The Cashers are wide left. Perry inside of Keith. Walker is wide right. Samuels is in motion. Keith Cash slung to the AstroTurf by Nick Thomas. Clock rolls after a gain of about 4. 36 seconds and counting as the Horns try to scramble up without a huddle.
And you got to go downfield now. Throw that ball 20, 25 yards. Get 1-on-1 situation, read the defense, and wing it out.
Well, again, underneath. And it's Samuels. They will stop the clock with a first down. He has the Arkansas 37 before the tackle by Ty Mason. The clock stops with 18 seconds remaining as they move the chains.
Of course, that stops the clock, so you call the play, and as soon as the referee blows the whistle, you start.
Gardere, Johnny Walker again. Texas burning their final timeout with 9 seconds to play in the half after just another routine grab by Johnny Walker.
Well, we talked about streaks, and Johnny Walker is on a streak. It's just a simple crossing pattern. He catches it in traffic, and boom, does he take a hit here. Look at the concentration. That ball actually bounced around, and he just kept his eyes on it. Now watch him here. This is a post pattern. Cut back inside. Watch, he doesn't really catch the ball clean. He starts to bobble it, gets hit immediately, and covers the ball and comes down with it in great position, at least for a field goal try.
Well, apologies to Cliff Gustafson and the Atlanta Braves organization. This is a football player. He may end up in the major league someday. But it won't be because of a lack of options. Look at that. 3 catches, 80 yards. And he got tattooed on all 3, this time by Michael James. 9 seconds remaining. And Michael Pollock will attempt a 32-yarder. He's 11 of 13 for the year. And another one. The senior who has never lettered at Texas out of Austin Johnston tacks on 3 more. Texas 13, Arkansas 7, 4 seconds remaining in the half.
Great form there by Pollock too. Watch this, concentrate. You've got to get that left foot down. That's your plant foot. Nice follow through. Keeps his eye down, just like a golfer. Keeps his eye down on the ball. Doesn't look up until after contact. Doesn't practice in the spring either. As you said, took off, went to Europe for the spring. Just said, I'll be back in the fall when you need me, coach. And what a difference for David McWilliams from the Penn State game that we did, when he said, oh boy, am I nervous about the kicking game, and now he's assured of a good kicking game.
Isn't that amazing? The position that has been maybe the most solid on his whole roster was the one that drew the most worries before the season. So Pollock with 4 seconds remaining. Interesting to see what he does here. You saw Tracy Caldwell, the deep man, and he's just going to air it out again. So Arkansas, with 4 seconds remaining, will have one shot from their 20-yard line, trailing 13-7. Quinn Grovey in the first half, 4 of 6, 67 yards, and the school record tying touchdown pass to Caldwell is 11th of the year. This for a guy